Move on with the news, and it's a focus here on developments in Westbury here in Johannesburg. An increased police presence, it seems, sadly has done little to quell the violence in Westbury. It's been the site of several public shootings in the last few days following the killing of gang leader Keenan Ebrahim last week, Thursday. Since then, no let-up in the violence and more incidents overnight. eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu has been following that story. He joins us in studio now. So last night, another violent night. Tell us about it, Manqoba.
Well, indeed, Sally, we understand from community members that there was another shooting that took place in Westbury around about 9 o'clock in the evening, where some of the residents telling us that they heard gunshots going off at one of the areas, close to a home of one of the alleged, right-hand woman of the slain gang leader Keenan Ebrahim. And we understand that in this particular moment, there is no reports of anybody being injured in that incident. We have also reached out to police. They have not said anything about the shooting, but were able to confirm, Sally, with a number of community members, community leaders who were there in the area that said that they heard the gunshots that went off last night. And of course, we've been trying to also speak to police about this, but we have not been able to reach the Gauteng police just to get confirmation of that. But people saying that it was a shooting that went on for quite some time, but we understand from one of the community leaders that the police were quick to arrive on the scene. They were just there moments after that had happened, but we have not been able to confirm whether there was any injuries or fatalities coming from that. But of course, it tells you how tense the situation is in Westbury. Community members saying that, they are used to gunshots going off in that community, but in the recent days, Sally, it has become, somehow worse due to what has been happening in that area, the spate of shootings that have been taking place in Westbury. We know that they began roundabout on Friday last week. This is just a day after the murder of Keenan Ebrahim in that, not in the community, but we understand he was shot just outside in another area from the community, Consentia Kloof, if I remember quite well. That's where the drive-by shooting happened. But so there's been these shootings that have been occurring in that community, and we understand that from Friday there are 13 people that were shot, 2 of them died, and there are 11 that have been injured. And police saying that they still remain on the ground. There are teams of police that are on the ground. The anti-gang unit is on the ground. You have the public order policing on the ground. There are also detectives that we understand are on the ground, as well as members of the Johannesburg Metro Police Department. But community members saying, Sally, that despite the presence of the police, they don't understand how, these shootings still occur in the community. So many of them are still gripped in fear. Many of them are reluctant to come out of their houses because of the safety issues. In fact, they are saying that, there's some sort of a lockdown that has, been imposed on Westbury due to the killings that we've seen over the past few days. And earlier on, I spoke to one community member, the community leader, in fact, just about the situation on the ground and how people are feeling on the ground. And let's take a listen to what he had to say.
There's such a lot of anxiety. The tenseness in the area makes it difficult to move, because if you drive around in the area right now, you'll see that there's not even people walking around because everybody stands to fear. So your fear is when there's no police in the area, it becomes a problem, because there's fights that sparks in seconds at schools. Even back home, it is bad. The minute you don't see cops, then the situation just defaults again. There was shooting last night. Fortunately, I think one of the good things that we've experienced now is that whenever there's a shooting and you report, the police they respond immediately. So I'm happy for that at least they're working on our end. I would think that if the police had listened to us last year when we had a protest in the area, the situation wouldn't have been as what it is right now. You understand? So I can't think it would blame them for whatever is happening in our community right now. What I do think is that we gave demands to the cops, and we gave demands to General Marshal a while ago, and they never acted. So they took absolutely long with regards to acting in our community.
I want to ask you about your experiences as a reporter. I mean, you're used to going into dangerous areas, but even with that experience, you found this story pretty difficult. Just share with us what's been happening.
It hasn't been easy, Sally, as far as, safety is concerned. we have had many moments where we've had to, leave the community and, go and seek shelter from police, because you never know what's going to happen in that community. We've had community members coming to us, Sally, telling us that, please be vigilant, please be safe, always watch, ensure that you are in a safe place, because they say even, stray bullets, can come your way in that community. That's how we know, of course, this has happened before.
Is the police presence notable? I mean, is there a sense that the police are in control?
The police are there, Sally, on the ground. And in fact, I think the situation has slightly improved, according to some community members, because of the police presence. But of course, that has done little to deter, the shootings that have continued in that community. And in fact, you speak to many community members, they're telling you, Sally, that despite the police being there, they still don't feel safe. They still feel that the people that are behind the shootings are still not arrested in that community. And so they're saying that, they're not happy with the police response to this violence. Of course, there have been many incidents in Westbury, and they're saying that as soon as the police leave that area, then the violence starts again in that area. So there's a lot of concern about the police response. Are they doing enough? Is there a plan to deal with the crime and the gangs in that area? And many community members will tell you that they don't believe there's a plan to deal with the issue, because it's happened so many times. And the fact that even now there are shootings that are taking place that are unabated, that happened right in front of police, under their nose, they're saying that, Sally, that doesn't assure them that they are protected as residents of that area. And also, I spoke to a criminologist, Sally, who says that it doesn't appear that the police have a plan to curtail the violence there. She says that the fact that there are still these incidents happening there just is proof of that really the police do not have a plan, they do not know how to address this, and that they're simply not doing enough in that community to address these issues now and in the long term. But take a listen to what she had to say.
I don't think the police have a plan at all. They were caught off guard. And this is shocking because it shows that our law enforcement doesn't understand societal dynamics and the level of vulnerability. Because if they knew and understood the societal and community context, they would have been prepared to understand the dynamics around organized crime, level of drug circulation, availability of illegal firearms, and so forth. And again, socioeconomic conditions here is very reflective of what to expect, particularly with drugs and gun-related violence. This is not the first violence the community is experiencing. So resources should have been in place long time ago. So they do know. However, I don't understand their reactive nature in this regard. And this shows that should this happen in other areas, we're going to have the same reactive problem, same shootings in the presence of the police. Remember, there were shootings in the presence of the police. That undermines their presence. Now they are rumoring around the area, and we don't even understand why, because we need deployment. We need more visibility. The community need to be secured. As per NDP, National Development Plan 2030, that community should feel safer and secure.
She's raising so many important points, and it's reminding me of the previous incidents we've seen in Westbury in the past few years, but also what's going on the Cape Flats. And we know that in Cape Town they have tried so many interventions, CCTV, yes, they've upped police presence, but still, just in the last week or so, they've had a number of shootings in Manqoba and Hanover Park. They've even had the army deployed at times. So it does seem like it's a very difficult issue to really get to grips with. But thank you very much for updating us, and please do trust your instincts in those areas, because it is, as you say, very, very volatile in Westbury at the moment still. Thank you so much for chatting to us. That, of course, is our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu. Stay with us.